Good evening, everybody. This is Amar from Singapore. Joining with me is Aarti and Arun. We are from AAA, and as usual, we have come up with a new topic of life. Now, this is a very hot subject in the present scenario, as everybody is dying to get the attention. People have stopped meeting each other. People don't socialize with each other. People are missing each other, and hence here the factor of technology comes live. As you may have seen, many conferences or meetings or social gatherings are happening on Zoom. And that Zoom link is being connected with Facebook. And when it goes on Facebook, that means you are connected with the community and people who from family and friends, everybody, once they get a notice in their Facebook that we are going live, and hence everybody is connected and eager to know what's the subject of today. So life has become a part and parcel of today's life. Everything is online. Even the shops, you name the shopping online apps like Shopee, Qoo10, Lazada, even those shops, they come on Facebook and they go live. They sell the shirt live, they sell the t-shirt live as if they are sitting in the shop. So life has changed drastically with everybody having ongoing at the moment as we speak kind of narration. So regarding this, I would like to ask Aarti ji. Aarti, what do you think? What's the people way of looking at things when they see something live online? So, Aarti, I would like to ask you, in this present scenario of everybody going live, what do you think? Why this first-hand information should be given to the people? Why it is so important that everybody should know at the moment what is happening as we speak now? What do you say about this?
Well, I will say, if we are talking about a live, I will say at this moment, like most of the populations are turning to diverting to the social media right now, and social media is a platform that all kind of features are being developed at the moment. Looking at attention, how they are like, it has become one of the most important fact basically. So basically I myself, I will for my movie release anything, I'll take the I'll always perform a live show to make sure that so many people are watching. That is much more interesting if I post one picture and then hardly there'll be people who will be doing posting or they'll be looking, they'll just browse through. But if I do a live, so there will be some alertness, whoever is following me, whoever is on my Facebook or Instagram or something, so they will get an alertness that Aarti is at live. So what happens when they will look at this live, they will know what is that today, what's so exciting today, what is she presenting. So if I release my movie, if I talk about it, they'll have, I'll get in fact more attentions, so it's a good for marketing purpose. And of course, I mean, I'm also a follower of the social media because my work and my profession is dependent on that. If there's no social media, I think my work will not be, because there's no more a time, movies not releasing all on theater, right? So we have to come to live. There's no live, we have no business. So, and of course, taking picture when we go restaurant, food, anything, going out for a meeting, taking picture, it grabs attention. This is what we want. That's why we are into the business.
Okay, as you said, everybody is on OTT platform now, from
Yeah.
movies to everything. And I do realize that the life, uh, I can say it's an addiction. The addiction is so high that apps like TikTok have become a global craze. And taking pictures has become so meaningless. I would like to ask Mr. Arun, what do you say of the people who don't cherish the nature rather than just taking the pictures of the plants and trees, rather than smelling the mother earth and feeling the flowers in as in good old days, as I am old school and of course you are too. So what do you tell people like Aarti who take pictures of dishes rather than tasting the food? As soon as the food comes, my mouth waters. I would like to taste. I cannot wait to take the pictures of the food. So, advice to Aarti in this regard.
Going live means away from life. We are so much technology driven, we are going away from nature. Now, all that craze for sunrise and flower blooming and bees humming, all that is lost, I tell you, gradually. People are so much into technology, so much into showmanship that they no more have time to appreciate nature. So even if they go to a restaurant and when they order a food, their main criteria is it should look good. How will be the dressing? That is more important than the taste. Because taste is known only to you, but the dressing will be visible to a few thousand people. So dressing is more important. Instead of your own dressing, it is the dressing of the food which is more important now. So anyway, so I've seen people, especially youngsters, they take pictures of the food and they wouldn't start eating till they get the reaction from the people about that food. So I find it little bit too much to digest. But anyway, this is life. It is how it is going on. In India, there's one more thing which I've come across. In recent times, there have been a lot of accidents, and those have been only because of people are too much into selfie mode. For everything, they take selfie. So they go to a mountain top, they are on a cliff, and they are taking a selfie from a risky point, and they end up losing their life. This has happened. People on the railway stations also. They're standing on the line. A train is coming, and with the background of train, they want to take a selfie. And so Indian Railways has banned selfie. This is the reality. Indian Railways has banned selfie on railway stations. Now, this is the scenario in India that every place which is very dangerous, which is very, risky, whether you are on a riverside or seaside, you want to take a selfie from a risky spot. Now, that has become really, really dangerous, and to the extent youngsters are losing their life. Now, this kind of craze for technology is amazing. It's really, it is telling upon your health also. When you wake up in the morning, first thing you touch is the mobile phone. When you sleep in the night, last thing you touch is the mobile phone. So you are more into mobile, and mobile is going to your bathroom, mobile is under your pillow, mobile is in your pocket all the time. If you tell if somebody loses mobile in today's world, that person, loses all his sense. Somebody losing mobile is beyond imagination. Especially a youngster, if he loses mobile, he'll go crazy, he'll go bonkers. He wouldn't know what to do, as if his whole life has finished. So this much of dependence on technology is not really fair.
Well, let me give some information here. Selfies are not in as of now. A couple of years before, selfie was very much in fashion. Nowadays, selfie is not in fashion. Nowadays, there are these apps like Facetune and Elsa Pic, I think, right? Where you take a selfie and your face glitters with all kinds of stars, and there are goggles and moustaches and
filters
caps and all those funny things.
Filters.
Aarti, I would like to ask you, why this craze of, especially with the female category, I would say. I don't want to be, very particular about this, but the females are the ardent followers of in the moment. The in the moment is similar like life. They just want to share immediately in the moment picture of how they. Of course, your pimples are covered, your acnes are covered, your dark circles are covered, your broken lips are covered, your broken eyebrows are covered. Everything. Why this mad rush to prove yourself that you're beautiful?
Well, I would like to say that especially female, a woman, always want to look the best, beautiful. And I think it's their right. It's their right. That's why God have made them a woman, they are like, they have full right, no matter how old are you. I've seen a 50, 60 years old lady, and filter is something, like when where you have seen those actresses in the movie, they will wear makeup and they'll look fabulous. They've been always watching them looking beautiful, nice, wearing good clothes. And this TikTok or these filters have actually given them that limelight. Look, you can look same too. So they want to try out, let me have a look. I'm not wearing any makeup. Let me see if my skin is, my dark circles are missing out. Let me see how I look like this. I look, and they will show to their friends, and then they'll get comments. Oh wow, so beautiful, so fabulous. This encourages them. So I would like to say one more thing. When my husband is more into this spirituality follower. So when I speak to him on this, he will tell me something. Women are like, okay, no matter how matured, you can say scientifically they're matured than a man or anything, but they are still a child. They are just a playful child in their mind. They all want to, they're in a playful, and it's nothing wrong with it. To me, to my point, yeah, definitely technology things cannot carry everywhere you want, but having this filter, using them, making them a bit looking better. Even I myself, when I'm sitting dining, I'm taking the food, I want to picture, I want to send. So people will comment me, wow, what a cook, what a fantastic movie, or what a look, what a dress, or what is it. This makes me very inspired. It makes me encouraged, and I think.
Okay, so that's your take on this. I would like to recheck with Mr. Arun. Do you think this self-centeredness, this idea of me, I, myself, always the woman that they portray, how uh, how good it is in the real life? Because what I see is when I know this is a bit biased, but when you don't allow the weightlifters in a weightlifting competition to take drugs, why do you allow women to put makeup in a beauty contest? You should appreciate a natural beauty, right? If a woman is beautiful, she's just beautiful. You don't need any makeup. So I would like to have your insight on this.
We are talking about made-up beauties. Anyway, in today's world, you see, because of this technology, what has happened is people have so many supporters, so many friends, so many likes, so many subscribers. But in real life, you may not have even one friend, or you might have 100 Facebook friends. But in real life, when you fall sick, other than your mother and father, nobody is going to help you out. There's nobody else who will bother about you and who will give you medicines. So this should be taken more in fun. They should be taken more for just for pastime issues. You can't take these things quite seriously. Of course, if you want to promote something, a product you want to promote and all, yes, you can do. You can use all these technologies of Facebook and Instagram and all that. But other than that, you will disconnect with yourself. You get disconnected with your inner self if you are connecting too much with technology. Beyond a point, I mean, see, technology should be your strength. Technology should not be your weakness. Technology should be to increase your productivity. If you are using technology to increase your productivity, to save time, to improve upon yourself, for all those things, then technology is very good. But if technology is making you lazy, technology is making you unhealthy, if technology is making you, sick, then you must know where to draw that dividing line. Because technology has lots and lots of advantages. Because it saves you a lot of time. What we used to do earlier used to take us 3 to 4 hours. Now today we can do the same thing in probably 10 minutes if you apply the right kind of technology. So there are advantages. So I wouldn't call it outright that no, it is a bad thing. I wouldn't call it that. But yes, we should we should know where to divide, where to stop, up to what extent to involve. How to increase our productivity through technology? Yes, we must do that.
I just remembered Instagram's turnover of 2020 is $6.8 billion. So that's how people are these apps have driven us so much into just one small gadget that we have ended up all our brain and mind and all our senses into one. How do you think we should come back to our basic human roots? why so much dependency on one small screen and proving oneself that we are the best and we are the most beautiful?
Yeah, like what I said, TikTok, Instagram, all these things are making dependent, but it's addictions. But this is what is a business, and everybody is doing that somehow. Nobody is like stopping. Let it be an intellectual, let it be a poor, rich, or anybody. So unless or the initiative from the rules and regulations comes from, nobody will stand for it. I mean, yeah.
What is your take on this for back to basics, Mr. Arun? A few words from you before we end. How do we make people interested in the real life rather than the real life?
Before I answer you that, I'll tell you, technology has one great advantage. It is a great leveler. The people in the rural India or the poor, they're equal on the website and at par with the rich and the famous. If somebody in the rural, a poor boy has a website and a rich person has a website, they both are equal on the technology front. They're equal, but in real life they are not equal. In real life there'll be world of difference, but on technology they are equal. So this is one great thing about technology. Technology saves and helps those people in the rural India and all that. And secondly, what your question was, what was it specifically? What did you ask?
Back to basics.
Back to basics. You see, you have to be connected with nature. You have to go for morning walk. You have to do yoga. You have to have good food. There are no substitute. The technology cannot substitute your morning walk. Technology cannot substitute your relationships issues. So technology is there. Take advantage of the technology. You must utilize technology to improve your life. There are so many apps which can give you time management, so many apps which can give all your records, so many apps which can keep all your life data. There are so many apps which can give you keep your medical data and all. So these apps and these sites are really good. They give you a lot of advantage. But then you give up your whole life and you become a technology fan. Technology, you become crazy. So that will create imbalance and that will ruin your life. You're sitting on a dining table and you're only looking at your mobile phone. You don't even know what did you eat and what is the taste of the food. So to that so you have to be back to basics and take advantage of technology. This is what I will say.
Correct. Since before, when movies used to come in the movie theaters, and the imagination, the fascination of the glamour world was unachievable, that thing has come to a commoner, as Mr. Arun said, that even a rural place guy or a girl, when she can beautify herself and she feels she's also she can compare herself with a lady actor. She can her ego is boosted. That kind of thing is there, but brains are getting lost with the rat race in beauty. So, dear viewers, I would suggest that life is good and have to be balanced, as we have to balance other things in life. Like we come into many management courses like work and life balance, family and professional balance. In the same way, we can only go live when you are really competent and can deliver to the people and make sense to the people. Going live and just making a fool of yourself is a big waste. And yes, I would like to say that we are not going live now. We are in a recording mode, so we have to have that enough viewership. We need your support. So kindly like, subscribe, and share, and definitely comment, so we can go live and take question and answers from the viewers. So thank you for your time, Aarti and Arun, and it was a very nice insight, and we will connect again with a new topic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, everybody. We from Singapore, AAA, Aarti, Arun and Amar. Today we have come up with our talk show as usual, and our topic of today is phishing and scam. Before starting with ourselves or our panelists. I would like to introduce Mr. Arun. He's a life coach and an author. Aarti, she's a movie maker and has been awarded in short film festivals. And myself, I'm into international business and a thought leader. So today, it's as relevant, the subject of scam and phishing. It is very general that every person as of now or as of every day gets at least 2 or 3 phone calls or 2 or 3 emails giving them some vague information, and a very little percentage of people get fooled. How do we protect ourselves in this unwanted scenario? I would start with Aarti. Aarti, on an average, how many phone calls you receive, and did you succumb to any phone call or did you succumb to any email saying that you will get rich suddenly, certain amount of money will be deposited in your account, or your credit card has been stopped for some reason and you need to press some button to reactivate? I would like to know your experience on this.
Thank you so much for Amar for inviting here, and the topic is really very important today, scamming. Yes, I did. I always get through the social media like Facebook, Instagram, and phone calls as well. I even received for job interview calls. And I also received, my Facebook account was hacked, I received an email as well. But there is a language of the scam things, they will straight away go for your personal identity, they will look for that. So you should be able to recognize that. But I will say about in a day or month or year, if in a day I'll get about few of them, 2 to 3. In a month I will definitely get about 10 or maybe more. So, and whoever I speak to, even they receive the so much of scam. Many of them get hooked into it. Some of them, they already know by now all the scams, what are their main languages and how they, what kind of similar things they use. Thank you.
Well, yes, what she mentioned is the accent. Normally the accent, what I have with my experience also is, not to be very particular, but of course Nigeria is a hub where it all started. I have been receiving emails that certain president have died and his wife is widowed and she wants to transfer millions of dollars. Way back, like 2 decades back, I received emails when Hotmail was just starting, when the MSN Messenger was just starting. From that time, they have been trained in such a way to fool people. So, Mr. Arun, when was the first time did you receive an email that some widow would like to transfer you some $1 million and she's ready to pay you some percentage? And did that email really attract you, or you had to check with few people that is the genuinity of such email?
Every morning around 8:30, I become a millionaire. And around 8:45, I'm back to normal. Almost on a daily basis, I get a couple of mails wherein they say that she's an army widow, or she's a politician's wife, or various kinds of stories are there. And if you happen to get trapped into those stories, then it's very difficult to come out of it. And mostly they tell you to keep it secret, so that you don't even share that story with anybody in the family. So if there is a wiser person in a family, you can't share it with him, so that he might stop it. Then recently my wife got one message on a mobile phone that by mistake I've sent you the passcode. Some passcode has come on your phone, so would you be kind enough to share that passcode to us? Luckily she asked me that this kind of message I have received, so I'm sending. I said, don't do that. They might vacate your bank account. In India, even judges have been victim to this. Most literate people have been have suffered because of this. So this is a phenomenon which is worldwide. And as you rightly said, the epicenter of all this is some African country. Mostly it is Nigeria. The brain behind all this is the software engineers from Pakistan and such like people.
Definitely not good. talking about greed, Aarti, how greedy have you been in certain cases? Let's say money matters.
I would say not at all in money matters, yes, but I would like to definitely make some money for my work, because money is need, but it is not a necessity. That means you will need somewhere, because you have to run your home, you have to run your office, your work and career, that's it. But too much, definitely it will make you go haywire. So definitely the greed is another reason. That is why many of
scammers tap your greed point. They hit the nerve. So do you show that greed feeling? And
no, because this is why I was so far, I have never been caught hooked. I mean, I've been receiving so many emails, so many phones, so many things, but it's because I'm a movie maker, and analyzing and observing is my business, it's my profession. So when I will read that, I will know anyways that this is what is not normal, but it's a scam, you know. But I would like to share with Mr. Arun and Mr. Amar one incident about this scamming things. About many years back, I can say about 15 to 18 years back, when I was young, when I was schooling that time, my father was victim of this. My father is he's very business tycoon. He's very famous, and he's the first man from Singaporean man who did a scrap business in Vietnam. And he was also in newspapers, medias all over in Delhi and all over. So my father was dealing with import and export and scrap and all that. My father received an email, even a phone call from, his name was Dr. Kalu, from Nigeria. I was young and I can remember all those incidents. He was offered $20 million. Maybe because my father was into million category, so he was offered that price. As a businessman, my father, maybe he was okay with it, you know, because my father was always like, he wants to make more money and more money and more money into that. And every generation is different, definitely. But my father, of course, believed in that, and he transferred few money as well.
Oh, is it?
He transferred about $100,000 to $200,000.
Wow, that's a news.
Not only that, my father visited them to Nigeria and came back, and everything was normal. But later on, one day, when everything was preparing or everyone was happy, my father had about 25 staff in his office. Wow. All were going good. Then one morning after school, we are supposed to do homework, so I'm supposed for the English homework, I need to collect the newspaper. So I saw the newspaper. On a newspaper it was written 11 Singaporean businessmen were scammed by Nigerian fraud scammer. I quickly got up and I showed it to my father and I said, Dad, you see, I saw this. Mother said, oh my God, Dr. Kalu, Dr. This, they are the same people I went and visited. Thank God I'm back at the same one piece. And because they were kind of dangerous as well, but he went and came back. So therefore, of course he lost the money, but the big money he thought, and he lost some. But that was a case, was my first face-to-face incident experience that I saw. Yeah.
So, people, this is a live case. Her father was fished for maybe $150,000. Yeah. So, yeah, then it was something new. People were unaware, and business people definitely, let's say 2 decades ago, when business was blooming in exports and everybody was making money in everything, and when big money came across, of course we did not have the technology that time to assess, to analyze, to understand if it is scam or genuine. So, Mr. Arun, what advice would you give to people, for the normal average people who don't understand the terms of phishing and scam?
I'll tell you a story. Not very long ago, I know a girl in Singapore. I still know her very well, and she's into hospitality. And she got friendly with one person, one boy, and that boy projected her to be very rich and very capable and smart and all that. And somehow that boy got into a relationship with that girl, and probably he molested her also. This is the kind of story what the girl told me. And he secretly made a video also of that girl. And you wouldn't believe, this girl gets a very meager salary of $3,000. He blackmailed her and took $5,000. He said that I made a video of you, and this is the video. He sent her a clipping, and she became friendly with her, emotional with that boy. And he said that you give me money, 5,000. And every now and then he started asking for money. Don't, especially young girls, they should not go for strangers, they should not talk to strangers, they should not mix with strangers. Till they have not been properly introduced to a person, they should not talk to them. So this is one care which every girl should take. When it comes to business also, nowadays there are so many ways to verify. You can make a verification through your bank to bank verification can be done. And don't fall in for, there is nothing called free lunch. You want to, by investing 100,000, I'll get $2 million. It is unbelievable. It never happens. In business, in any kind of trade, we are talking about food business, hardly the margin is 2%. In electronics, it could be 10% and things like that. So to make 2%, 10% is hell of a big thing. It's very difficult. And these people, they are offering you multifold. So you have to take control of your greed. You have to be careful of the strangers. And mind you, all the information goes out from your own company, from your own staff. If you have, I'm not talking about the Singapore context, but in Indian context, all the information from your house goes from your maid, from your domestic help, from your driver. You have to be very, very careful what are you doing. Because nowadays in mobile phone, they can immediately, I know in Singapore also, you also know that lady. Whenever that lady would go to a bank, outside a bank, she would always meet a known person. And that known person would ask for her money. And this happened many times. That lady asked me that, something is wrong with my stars. I said, what went wrong? She said, whenever I go to bank, whenever I come out of the bank and there's somebody known and the person starts crying and then I have to give that money to that person. So I said, there's nothing strange about it. This is very simple. Does your maid know that you go to the bank? He said, yeah, I tell her that I'm going to the bank. Next time don't tell her, you won't find a stranger outside the bank. Very simple. She said, what do you mean? She's a nice lady. I said, I'm not saying she's a nice lady or not a nice lady, but if you inform and go, you run a risk. You run a risk. And she confirmed to me later that yes, that was right. That was right. She stopped informing her and then these incidents did not happen. So when it comes to money matters, you have to be very careful, very secretive. You cannot share that information with anyone because whoever is pretending to be nice to you, what does that person has in mind, you don't know. For instance, you're talking in a cab. You're talking about, okay, we'll go and pick up $1 million from there and then we'll drop it there and there. The cab fellow, he has got a mobile phone. He can just make a message, okay, this fellow will be getting off at so-and-so address and take care of him. That's it. That's good enough. You see all the accidents, they happen like this. There is somebody who knows about you, somebody who's keeping an eye on you. So you have to be very careful. For instance, in a business world, I come from a community, Marwadi community, we will never tell anybody that I'm going to bank. As a matter of habit. I also told my son, never say that I'm going to bank. I'm going for work. I'm going to restaurant is fine. I'm going to hotel is fine. I'm going to temple is fine. But I'm going to bank is a wrong statement. Don't say I'm going to bank. I'm going for collection. Don't say that. Because the moment you make a statement, you don't know who's the wrong person who's hearing. So a friend of yours came 3 days ago to ask for some money, $5,000. You denied. And now he's along with you. Now you're saying I'm going for collection. Now you are giving him ideas. Oh, this fellow didn't give me $5,000. Let me teach him a lesson today. You can pass on that message to somebody else, some wrong element. Such incidents are very, very common in Bombay, Delhi and all. These incidents are very common. So never say you're going to bank. Never say you're going for collection. So these small care you have to take. For instance, you are carrying cash, a lot of cash. people, those who carry a lot of cash with them, should not wear flashy clothes. Common sense. Should not wear expensive watches. Should not wear expensive this. As you're increasing the risk. You're carrying $100,000 in your pocket. Very good. One big risk you're taking. Now you're enhancing that risk by wearing a branded watch and all that beautiful clothes and all that. So you have to be very particular. In today's world, you cannot be casual. You have to be particular. You have to be very smart. You have to know that risk management. If you don't know, then you can't be lucky every time. Every day.
I second to you. I remember. Very correct. So the criteria, what Mr. Arun is mentioning, is the criteria lies in secrecy and communication. Secrecy. Now, of course, we know so many people. We are the products. In today's world, we are the products. Our number is sold to everybody. You must be browsing Facebook or Google. You just browse one subject, and Facebook keeps sending you relevant relevant videos and relevant emails from those companies for which product you have been browsing. So we are all exposed already. In Singapore especially, please mind that if you get any phone call which shows +65, just ignore it. No need to take. It is a complete scam because a local number will be only with 8 digits. So Aarti, do you have any other examples of how do we recognize any phishing calls, especially you get on WhatsApp also nowadays. You get messages that, and you will get a phone call with a DBS logo. We are calling from a DBS bank, and your card is hanged. What do you have to say about this innovative technology that our scammers have?
Thank you so much, Amar. Well, not only the banks, they will also name the government bodies as well.
Oh.
They will even come down to the home. I remember a few of my friends told that the granny was visited by a government officer saying that from MOM or from the MOE or somewhere, or they need to do so and so, so they need their particular details, and that the grannies had given, and she was mocked with that $65,000.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's true story.
Amar, I like to add here, most of these advertisements in the apps that my son is sick and he is down with
syndrome.
So all are not genuine. I don't say that all are fake, but all are not genuine even. Some of them are fake. They've been collecting money, huge money, and that is all. There are a lot of people are put in their brain and they kind of create a story and do all that kind of scam. So you have to be very, very careful in today's world. If you don't know risk management, you will be. It's easy to make money, but easier than that is to lose money.
Since you mentioned risk management, give us some tips on risk management.
As I told you that you have to be very simple, you have to be very smart. Don't dive. For instance, if you are an egoist person, if you are trying to I am so and so, I am so and so, I can do this, you will be scammed earlier because you will become a better target. Because your ego feeding can be done and it can be handled easily. Always when you go to a new country or new city, always take a thumb rule is don't go to a dark lane. When I go to London, streets which are crowded I go there, streets which are well lighted and crowded I go there. Same in New York I follow. I don't go, if there are 4 lanes going and one is dark, I don't go to that. Even if there may be a better store there, I will not go there. Because why do you want to take you always go with the masses. People are walking this side, you also start walking that side. Don't go to the dark side. So always you have to take all your own precaution. You have to be cautious. If you are moving alone in the night, give your phone number to your relatives, to your host, everybody, so that they can keep a check on you. Nowadays through apps also you can know where the colleague is hanging around. So you have to take care, and especially if young girls are there. Singapore is a very safe place. There are many other cities in the world which are safe, but rest of the world is not so safe. A girl in the night 2 o'clock cannot go around. You have to understand that is highly, highly unsafe. And places, there are certain countries, there are certain cities, if they know that you have $1,000 in your pocket, for sure they will target you. They will follow you, chase you for 1 hour, and then they get an opportunity for 1 minute, and that's it. They'll snatch it from you. And if you resist, they might hurt you also. You can't resist also. If somebody comes and puts a gun behind you and tells you that give me the money, you just give him the money, that's it. You cannot act funny and tell him, oh, what are you doing and all this. I mean, he can really harm you physically. You might shoot on your feet or even whatever can happen. So you have to be very, very careful. In New York City, I have seen my friend, the glasses were broken in the car and the laptop was taken. In Manhattan, which is a crowded place. So you cannot keep a laptop like this in the car or the car seat. You have to keep it below. So you have to apply all your common sense and protect yourself. In today's world, only you alone can protect yourself, nothing else. Of course, houses are fitted with cameras, outside it is camera, in your car also you can put a camera. So wherever possible, do put, but camera is not preventive. Camera is,
detective.
So it's a post-mortem. If something has happened, you will know who has done it, that's all. But camera will not prevent that. The person will break the camera also, he will take the camera also.
On a lighter note, I would like to add, as Mr. Arun mentioned, go with the crowded places. I always visit the restaurants which are crowded because at least they have a proven taste.
Yes.
I don't go to the restaurants with low.
Actually, Amarji, I would like to add here, it is not very difficult to recognize the scammers' email or messages. First thing they will target is greed. They will add in something which is relating with what you're going to run.
Leo.
Yeah. So you have to know why are they giving you first thing. How did you end up winning that? And all those things.
Well, this is a very good thought that both of them have shared. Common sense. This common sense, I don't know if the education system of today have this aspect of giving some kind of exercise to students or some kind of homework to students applying common sense. Of course, children can grasp everything at a grassroots level. So if education system can introduce some subject on how to protect oneself and how to be safe and sound and know the jargon and know always Google is here, of course, but we have the education system or us have to tell them, please look something before going to a strange place, as Mr. Arun mentioned that if you're going to a strange area, be aware of the demographics, people, culture and stuff.
So as I was saying, Southeast Asia is a region which is not so well discussed in history circles. And I was giving an example of the Bangkok Airport, which is quite unique. So when you land in Bangkok Airport and you are in the transit area, when you reach and you see a huge statue of a big snake which is wound around a central kind of pivot, and I'm sure, because as an Indian I could understand what it means, but I'm sure that a Westerner would probably not make anything of it when they see it first. And what's interesting is that it is the core of Indian mythology which is being so, and you can see that in the Thai psyche, it's like so important that they have made it the centerpiece of the airport.
I would like to correct you, Manoj. You mentioned the word mythology, but we have evidences, as we are talking about history, we have evidences about epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata. Our archaeologists have also found the real facts from our Indian soil, which extends to Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. They have the evidences that Ramayana was 12,000 years ago, and what you mentioned, the Amrit Manthan, that means taking the nectar out of the ocean, also should be a record. So I'm sorry I interrupted, but we have this evidences of a proper history. This is a history. English word of mythology is given, so that we must touch upon another time. So sorry, you can continue.
Thanks for the correction. Grateful for that. I think this is a very important point what you said, And let me take that story forward of Southeast Asia with that point. So we talked about Thailand, in which even now all the kings of Thailand, they have one word in common, that is Rama. And that is the proof that this lineage is right now coming from somehow connected to India. Okay, in this very simple fact conclusion, we can make this out. Now let's talk about Indonesia. Even let's talk about the current context. So you have heard the names of the leaders like Sukarno Putri. So anybody from the Indian, even anybody in an Indian village, you say Sukarno Putri, they will understand what it somehow means. So again, you are looking at a hint of the Indian culture which was there in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia. Of course, everybody knows about Bali, which even now is a dominant Hindu island. We can also talk about Vietnam, even Philippines, and let's talk about Malaysia. So I'm sure there will be many Singaporeans and Malaysians looking at this video. Do any of you know what is the oldest archaeological remains in Malaysia? The oldest archaeological remains in Malaysia of the modern, I'm not talking about prehistory, are in the Klang Valley, and there is a site called Bhujang Valley, and you have remnants of temples, you have remnants of what in the Malay words are called Chandi. So Chandi is like what we call a ceremonial platform, where there is a center piece where you can do the basically the rituals. So in Klang Valley, Bhujang Valley is an archaeological site, which again shows the link between India and Malaysia. And on all these things, I'm talking about India and Southeast Asia, but Southeast Asia on its own has a very rich culture. So let's talk about, I'll go a little bit prehistory now. I'll go and talk about a site called Gunung Padang. Gunung Padang is at the edge of the Java island, and Gunung Padang I'll explain how it looks like right now. It's a little hill with a lot of stones which are right now scattered all over the place, but a naked eye, even you can see it with a naked eye that it was a structure, and the dating of that site is 12,000 years. With that chronology, it actually links to the old sites of Göbekli Tepe. It's another site in Turkey, which is also 12,000 years ago. So, I mean, I just digressed a little bit to talk about very old history. But Southeast Asia is, even with the flora and fauna, is what we understand, it is also very well integrated. So even an island in Philippines and an island in Sumatra or in Java, you have similar plant life, animal life. And 9,000 years ago, the whole South China Sea area was actually above the sea. So you can imagine 9,000 years ago, humans of this whole area had a very big piece of land which connected Malaysia, current Malaysia, Indonesia, Sumatra, Philippines as one big piece of continent, which is in geographical terms is called Sundaland. And again, there are prehistorians who believe that there were very advanced civilization 10,000 years ago, and there are different pockets of that. So we know there is a pocket of we know the Atlantis story, right? That Atlantis went down 10,000 years ago. So there is another school of thought that there was a very advanced civilization many thousand years ago, and Southeast Asia was probably one of that little pockets.
Wonderful. Can I barge in a little over here? May I ask you, what about the pyramids? Because I'm told they were at least 20 or 20,000 odd years old. Pyramids in Slovenia, pyramids in Egypt. So some people have been saying that pyramids in Slovenia are even older than pyramids in Egypt. Now we don't know, in this part of the world, we don't have pyramids. But they also have some historical connection with the rest of the world. So can you throw a little light on those?
I'll just share what I understand till now and how, because I'm not a deep scholar, but I read about this a lot. First point is pyramid as a geometrical structure. Why is it so important? Because pyramid, even now, pyramids have healing powers. So when you have even a glass pyramid, you can actually make a glass pyramid. There are people who are doing it, and you can sit and meditate inside, and the effect that you have with whatever vibrations, the combination of that. So pyramid as a geometrical structure has a spiritual importance. Now to your question, sir, that how do we judge these different structures? So many of us think that there are no. So Egypt pyramids are the famous ones. The next in the popularity category are the South American pyramids, the Mexican pyramids. Then the Slovenian pyramids are a recent find. How many of us know of the many thousands of pyramids in China, which again are not in mainstream, but they are available on the internet.
Really?
There are thousands of pyramids in China. The pyramid which I spoke about in Java, the Gunung Padang, is also a pyramidal structure, which has to be excavated more to understand better. And interestingly, even if you see in the North Indian archaeology, all the so-called and the Indus Valley excavations, all of them were mounds when they were found. In what in Hindi we call a tila. Okay, so there is a certain significance of this pyramidal structure. Of course, the temples and everything is also made in a conical pyramidal structure. You have many different references for it. Maybe it refers to Mount Meru or it refers to Mount Kailash. So
definitely, science has played a huge part in the evolution of humans. Then they were more scientifically advanced than as of today. They knew, especially the pyramids and the energies, the cosmos. Mr. Manoj mentioned lineage. Now this is a very vast subject, but I would like to ask Mr. Arun, since we are well versed with the epic Ramayana, and as you mentioned, the whole of Southeast Asia was a continent, how do you relate Ramayana with Southeast Asia?
When Indonesian president came to India, and when he heard about the controversy of Ram Temple, he was shocked and surprised. He said, how can this be true in this country? And when Vajpayee, the Indian Prime Minister, went to Indonesia, he was welcomed, and an evening cultural program was organized wherein he was shown Ramayana. So that is the importance of Ramayana over there. And as Manoj rightly said, if you go to Bali, on main street road crossings, you will see the statue of Krishna and Arjun and Yudhishthir and all those on the main streets. So it's part of their culture, it's part of their ethos. So it has been integrated, but somehow, what I believe, that historians have distorted.
yeah,
Some historians had a motivated interest. Okay, some governments also did not want the history to be known to the new generation, so they distorted the history books also. They suppressed the real history and only the history which they wanted to be known to the world that they. So some bit of politicians are responsible, and some historians who are not really honest to their job, if I may say so. Even the current historian, the most famous historian, I won't like to name, people understand this. One who's the most famous in India, he is totally biased. He talks about one side of the history. He doesn't talk about in balance, in equanimity. I'm sure people understand whom am I talking about. He's a special guest on few TV channels most of the time. So historians have a duty to be honest, to be reasonable, and to be balanced. Yes, Mr. Manoj, what would you like to add?
Yes, very good insights and very valid points actually. I would just say that this fact of history being distorted is as old as history itself. So even if we take the the ancient Indian context, I will not go very deep, but maybe 2000 years ago, from the time when the Buddhist religion became the dominant religion in Indian subcontinent, which was in the I would say the 3rd or 4th BC onwards to, let's say, 4th, 5th century AD, when you can find traces of Buddhism all the way from Afghanistan to Myanmar and so on. But after that, where was this? Because when the trend changed, when Hinduism again became more mainstream, all the Buddhist relics, the temples got so much faded out to the extent that we find the Ajanta caves then in the 19th century, which was such an important center for Buddhism 2000 years ago. That kind of site got obscured. So my point just is that this is always going to be like that. History will always get distorted. The only saving grace is of traditions to remain alive. So that I'll explain. It's again related to the very old Indian principle of Shruti and oral tradition. Because unless you have a trustworthy chain of succession, you cannot keep knowledge intact. So, and that also, again, just I'll take two more words, and that we see everywhere in the world. Whether it is the Swiss watchmakers of last few centuries who are able to keep their knowledge alive, or whether we go to China, the Shaolin, who are keeping their tradition alive, or whether we go to the meditation traditions, how are they being kept alive? They are not being kept alive in mainstream history. They are being kept alive by traditions. And for that, it's all, there is no government who can sponsor it actually. It's the traditions they will keep alive by their own sincerity.
Very well said, Manoj, and thank you, Mr. Manoj and Mr. Arun, for the in-depth knowledge of and the data transfer of humans from generations to generations. As we all know, this is a social media, so we try to come up with the subjects that are apart from the fake narrative from the mainstream media. I'm sorry to say, but yes, mainstream media have been biased in many ways with their own benefits. So it's our small effort to come up with the true facts, and we will try to come up with more interesting topics in our next talk show. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Thank you.